Welcome back to the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the Deformation Space Crimson Wings, their take on a masterpiece Starscream. It's a very good figure. He looks great from all angles. We're going to talk about it. Transformation's a bit rough, but I did get this. It shows that you can get yours there too. This might be the best Seeker made. We'll talk about it coming up. All right, looking at the box, it is actually a very high quality box. I mean, this is a pretty decent price point for a masterpiece Starscream, and this box has great paint on it, feels solid. It's a two-part box. It kind of slides open. Really is pretty nice. The kind of work they went through looks high-end, high quality. I like it. All right, here he is out of the box in his bot mode. He looks outstanding. This is an excellent looking version of Starscream, and it's kind of funny because it's coming around the same time as the Takara 2.0, which they call their 2.0. It's really 3.0 version. They both look great, but which one's gonna look better? I don't know. It's a tough one. This one does look outstanding. Very clean look to it. He's got some paint on him, and he has some weight to him too, a little bit of heft. I like the way he looks. But looking at him closer here, we can kind of see the face there. I did put the smirking face on. He comes with two more faces, and we can kind of take a quick look at those faces also. Here are his other two faces, and I don't know, I don't see much difference between these other two. I actually like the smirk so much more, so that's what he's going to have on mine. So this guy does have quite a bit of paint on him. All over, more or less. A couple places have some bare plastic, and overall, it's a matte paint, not a glossy paint, and he has great articulation with him also. I really do like this guy. Looking at the back, he does look kind of clean from the back. Now, one thing, we kind of see these flaps fold over, and we've seen that in the past, and the new Takara one tucks it inside the wings, but other than that, it's still really clean on the back, and not really much actual kibble. You can kind of see some screws and stuff from how it holds together. That's where I want my screws. Looking at him overall, he does have a clean look to him, and it almost looks like a little bit of line work tucked inside here, part of the sort of the transformation tucked in there. But really impressive how they got this thing to look so clean. Really thin. He's a thin figure also, so nice. And he's tall. I like a taller figure. I want the bots to be a bit bigger, and in my mind, he should stand pretty much almost head to head with Megatron, just slightly shorter. So we're going to see that comparison here in just a little bit. But let's have a quick look at articulation. Head side to side. He does have, you tuck these in, and that's so part of the transformation piece there. And then his shoulder goes out to the 90, and it's strange because all of the joints, he does have the butterfly, and then it goes, he can go pretty much anywhere you want with it. And the legs, thigh pieces have a lot going on there too, almost like a thigh butterfly going on. But you bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, which I was utilizing to get that whole angry fist thing, like And then his waist is everything you want. You've got the swivel, you've got the ab crunch to a point, and so like everything people have been complaining about with Starscreams, guess what? You've got it there. Now, when you get down here, you can see there's like two joints in there. So it goes out like crazy. Just a crazy amount of joint movement in there. And then you got the side to side. The knee looks like you get a 90 out of that. And then going forward, all this stuff is tight. This here is not painted. So that's friction based. It holds it really well. And yeah, you got to get the rest of that down when you go. And then here all the way forward. And then this really isn't a back butt flap, but it actually disconnects and comes down. So interesting how they've done a lot of this stuff. And it's different. See, I was thinking it would be kind of copying Takara. They really didn't copy anything from Takara there. The foot, it's more or less, I think it's just the toe movement, so that when you get that It's just toe movement, not actual the whole foot moving, but it's stable as heck. It works. It gets the job done. So I did leave the Fort Carry 'em up from another video, and I think it'd be kind of fun to have these guys just standing on there. Kind of an interesting background. But looking at comparisons of the three main ones on the market, so the new Takara right here, and then this one is the Make Toys, which was the king that reigned supreme for so long, because he does look pretty good. And over all of these, I like this one the best. I think he looks the best. I like the little bit taller size to him, and I like the aesthetic. I think Takara did a pretty good job over here, and the color, everyone complains about it being too dark, and it depends on what part of the show you're watching, but looking at it like this, I guess I prefer, because in my mind's eye, I see sort of that color. One thing about the Make Toys, though, the paint job on the Make Toys just really pops, so it's got like a nice shiny paint to it versus a matte paint finish. So just really depends on what you want and how you want to go. But there they are. Let's go ahead and get a side view of these. Here they are from the side, and you kind of check out how they look. Pretty thin. He is pretty thin. And I would say maybe the thinnest, but then again, this one might be the thinnest, but there's a bunch of kibble. He's definitely the cleanest, especially with the backpack, the clean backpack, so it looks pretty good. And then let's take a look at the back. And he does clean up really well in the back. I think that Takara cleans up pretty well just because of the way it's kind of a gimmick that they use to hide it all in the wings, which is kind of cool. But yet, over here, it looks more like a robot. Like you see his robot rear and not more kibble from the backpack. So, yeah, it does a better job cleaning up. The only thing are these folded flaps here, which are kind of something that I just expected we were just going to see on every version of the figure. These do have folded flaps, they just fold inside. So anyway, there's a look at all three of those options from the back. So a couple of interesting things about this guy. He does have an ability to move these forward if you want, and I don't really want. I kind of like them further back in my mind. That's how it should be, and which I kind of didn't understand why a similar type of thing occurs on the Takara one. And to me, I just think the Takara one, that was kind of a waste how they did it. But this slides in. It is really tight, but I guess it's painted too. Like all this has got paint. Then they didn't take into account that tolerance. I'd rather be too tight than too loose. But this is kind of hard to transform to pop out, but it works. You see, it's in there tight. But it's interesting how they do this. It's like a transformation of this, and you rotate it around to make it shorter for the other mode. Now we'd snap it in place. I'm not going to wrestle it back out, but the tip comes off. So pretty cool stuff. I think that looks good. It transforms, and I personally don't want it to be like attached to him. I like the fact that you can pop it off, do this, and then pop it in. So that's the way I like them more than, I guess, the way Takara has both options. But the earlier versions, it was like you were doing something wrong if you took it off. So I like this. I like how they did it. Pretty interesting weapon. All right, as for transformation, I'm gonna try to condense this down as much as I can to make it as easy as possible, but I don't know if you can make this one easy. I don't know. But anyway, I guess every Transformer starts with tucking the hands in, doesn't it? So I guess we'll start with that. Here we go. Alright, so his chest, it takes quite a bit to get it out. I don't use spudgers or anything. So messing around with this, I was able to get this open, and then you can kind of split it. It all comes together. These little pieces tuck into here and all of that. So open all this up, and then we're going to fold the arms out. Let's get some clearance with this weird moving piece of the, that's the pylon, so that we can fold this past that. Same thing over here. We want to pull this out and fold it past that. And then we're going to open all this up, and then we need to do some fun stuff here. We're going to fold all of this around, like so. And then, so this has kind of the extra tip that comes out like this. And then that's going to kind of close in like that. This here comes out. And there's a joint right here. Would have been nice if I could have rotated it earlier, but let's see if we can get this rotation going on like this. And it's rotated, and then we're going to put it into place, sort of, right here. It's a rock. It's going to rock in. There it goes. Tighten it up. Make sure the head's in place. This piece is going to have to go into place. And then close that. We got the nose cone finished here. Wow, lots of fun there. All right, next up on this bad boy here, we're gonna do some stuff with the arms and the back. Okay, spread the wings out like so, and then let's see. So this is starting to look like a mess here, so I want to kind of do everything on the back that I can really need to do. And I guess we can pull this up here, fold both of those pieces out so that they're sort of out of the way. And one of the things we're going to do here is, well, let's go and get this butt flap taken care of too. Take it off and fold it in. So we're going to position the arms so that the arms are inside, I guess you could say, instead of outside. So when they fold everything back, it's going to be in position to kind of just lay down. So kind of have to manipulate it to where you have some space to work, and then adjust it around. And there it goes. And it's on the inside, and that flaps out. Same thing on the other side here. Repeat the same process. There we go. Now, that actually makes it a lot easier. That if you do it like that, it'll turn so much easier. Huh. All right, the next thing we're going to do is pull this butt flap out. We want to make this all kind of flatten out. So we're going to take the arms to the back and flatten it. This part looks like some stuff's going to, do some rubbing, I guess you could say, to achieve this. So it's gonna be kind of hard to get everything to work like that, but you got to make it work like that. There's a way to close the chest back up again. Maybe fold these pieces in here. That'll help close the chest back up, and then we can start folding all this around. So I don't really know how to explain this, but as you kind of fold this up and over, it gives right here. So I don't know, like, it's pretty interesting that it does that, but you have to have it at the right angle too, correct angle, for it to do that, for it to kind of give. This side's not wanting to do it. The other side did it, so I guess once you get it past a certain point, I just don't want to break anything, and there it is, and it gives. All right, now we're getting into making this thing look right. And now at this point, we can open that back up and get all of this sort of flattening out. That whole section is scary. I guess you could say this whole transformation is scary. There's some red there. I'm seriously not knowing how anyone's gonna do this without doing some level of paint chipping at some way, shape, or form. It's just gonna happen. So. Getting the arms in there, and we're just going to start tightening all this up and making it flatten out with a bunch of different panels kind of all at the same time, just straightening and tightening, and it looks like it's all going to come together nice and clean, so that's a good thing. Keep working on that. Okay, moving down here to the legs. The feet are interesting because you're going to pull them down and then you're going to rotate them to this angle right here. As you can see, the toes, I guess you can call them toes, line up with that notch there so that you can open them. And then you can open that up and put that to the front. Same thing on the other side. Another series of strange perfections that are required to transform this. Open that up. Then we're going to open the leg. On the inside here, it tabs in really good, so getting it untabbed might be a challenge. I think the other side came undone a lot easier. There it goes. All right, all this funness. We are going to basically open this up and flip it around like so, and then flip this back piece here out and get it ready to go. Got to fold this all the way around, open that back piece. Same thing on this side, fold that. I'm having a hard time untabbing this side for some reason. That came up, but this one just doesn't want to untab. There it goes. Not as easy as I would like it to. Flip it around so that you can fold this stuff here out on this side. And it just feels like a fiddly transformation. It doesn't feel like snap, snap there, but looks good on both modes, so I guess we're paying the price for it to look good in both modes. Now we do need this undone and kind of moved down, which that's kind of a simple part of this whole thing. Now tab everything back in. There's a tab right here, and then a tab up here. And we're getting closer and closer. The big finale is about to happen here in a second. All right, so we're about to close this thing up. There's a couple things we got to do in order to get them closed up. You can see it already looks like the plane, right? It's pretty much there, right? So first thing, we're gonna fold these little pieces here out, and then we need, the arms are gonna go into the legs. They're already wanting to go into the legs, but we have to fold this piece here down, and that is going to go into this notch here. So that's pretty simple. Simple theoretically, easier said than done. So we got that one in place, and we got these guys hanging out ready to go in to the legs. We have this extended all the way, and all this stuff here still looks kind of gappy, but it's going to tighten up here in just a second. So we're going to start plugging things in as it goes, and just slowly and carefully, one at a time, as it goes. It's strange. There we go. We can kind of move that on that. That's how that's going to work. As it goes down, we got the top part. We're going to get it into position. And yes, it doesn't feel great. Guess we're just gonna like a little bit of each way as we go till we can get it all into place. That's how it's gonna have to go. Still just working it as we go, and it's coming along. It's just seems like one piece has to move, then another piece has to move for it to go. But I can't believe this isn't in place yet. These pieces here should have made it into place. So I'm going to take a look at that and see why this isn't going into place, because everything looks perfect to line up. So I'm going to have a quick look at that and be right back. So I say if you're transforming something, especially a masterpiece, and it just doesn't click right or go into place right, then you're probably doing something wrong. Actually, all I needed to do was kind of pull up on this, and everything popped in right here. Both of those sides popped in, so we'll get back to what we were doing here. Tab that in, like so. This goes down, and just gonna be spending some time cleaning this thing up. These pieces go to the back, like so. And then right there. Now we do have to do, before we put the wings in place, we got to take care of what's going on with all this. So we'll do the back pieces. And this cleans it up even more. This back piece here tabs that in. And for some reason this little piece isn't going in. There it is. On the other side, the little pieces. All right, I'm gonna fold this down, and then we can fold a wing down. It's an over under kind of thing. Then we fold these pieces out right now and get that wing done. It's getting close. It's getting close. It's a fiddly transformation, but these pieces didn't tab in. We'll get that when we get this next one. All right, got this kind of out of the way. Still making sure everything's straight. Fold out this stabilizer. Fold this piece out. Tab this into here. Tighten up all these. Seems like you have to reconnect a few things. Take this down and over and under it, kind of. Pull this out. Pull this into place, and I think we're there. We can get the landing gear out. Mine's not staying tabbed closed there, so there's some tolerance issue that I'm sure is user error. But yeah, not the worst transformation in the world, not the best, but take a little bit of time here. Get all these. Where is the landing gear? Got to get the landing gear out of here. It's in one of these. We'll get them out. We'll have a look at it. Alright, so here he is in his alt mode, and have a handful of things to say. I think it's a really good alt mode. It's a lot of work to get to it, but I think that's what it takes this day and age to have like super tune accurate in both modes or whatever. But it does have an opening cockpit, and you do have a little bit of detailing in there, kind of hard to see on camera. And I'm gonna close that up. I just didn't want to forget about that. Let's see this piece here. When I opened that up, it kind of pushed that down, so that was kind of strange. Anyway, overall, it looks really clean, really nice. One thing I didn't show in the transformation, so I put it back up, was to fold these down. So just having a look at this thing off camera, I was like, oh, I forgot to do that. So not a big deal in my opinion, but really, it does look good. It just really is a nice looking mode. It's pretty solid once you get it here. And now looking at these, I already showed you how to transform those earlier. I actually like mine like this. Maybe it's an homage, maybe that's from having so many other versions that the guns look like this, so I prefer, even in alt mode, for my guns to look like that. So I mean, it's all up to you. One thing about this is the landing gear right here. You kind of have to pull this out to push on the backside to pop them out. I was trying to pull it with my finger, which you probably could with a spudger or something. This figure makes me, I guess, want to get a set of spudgers, because there are a lot of areas you're gonna need a spudger. Probably going back to bot mode, I'm gonna need a spudger or something like that. But it is still pretty cool the way it is. It is pretty thin and sleek. I mean, I just can't see how a transformation would hide the more of the bot kibble, and it's not even really kibble. It's just bot pieces, because they're. I mean, that looks pretty good. I mean, this sleek and slim. It's really hard to have much negative to say about it, but this piece here. Now that it's on camera, it's not... Okay, there it is. This is loose, but it's not a big deal. But yeah, it's pretty solid overall. I'm really impressed with how good this looks in alt mode. One of the things in the pictures that really bothered me was that these are folding. They fold up, which is kind of interesting how they did it. And I don't know exactly how they'd hide it much better other than what Takara did with tucking it inside the leg at an angle, but... this looks good. It doesn't bother me in person as much, and I think it's because of the paint. But when I look at the unpainted side, that's when it reminds me that it bothers me. But the painted side, it sort of covers it up and blends in a lot better. Like, you just don't see it. Maybe they should have had all of the folds on the inside. I don't know if that would have worked for the transformation, and then the outside, you wouldn't have seen it at all. But anyway, not much to complain about in this mode, and these little things, you can have them go in and out if you want, and then it looks like it's firing. Boom, boom. Lots of good stuff there. So I don't have any jets in jet mode, but it kind of reminds me of about the same size as a standard Takara one, so not huge in jet mode, and it's definitely not small, so it just feels about the right size. But there's Hot Rod with them, and then Blur. Look at Blur! So, Blur's almost as long because he's got so much going on. No, not really, but that's the Fans Toys Jabber. I don't know which one's more fun to transform, the Jabber or this guy. Which one's more fun? Vote below. So this has been my quick look at the Deformation Space DS-01, and it's their take on Starscream, the Crimson Wings. Overall, a good figure. I'm going to have to tell you that I think this is going to be my set of Seekers. I hope they do the rest of them. I'm going to be on board with the rest of them if they do them, because I like the size, I like the scale, and I really like the aesthetic. And in some places feels a little cheaper than Takara's, and in other places just looks the way I want. I think the Takara one's great too, but this is almost half the price, and it's a little taller, and so I like it. I probably won't see the alt mode ever again once I get it back into bot mode. The transformation is not the easiest, but it's not the hardest either. I've seen worse transformations in the past, so I don't know if it's going to make my worst transformation list or hardest transformation list, but it's not exactly intuitive, and I think that's how people would rate a transformation. Does every part make sense? And you get to a point where, like, not really sure if I'm doing the right thing, because you have to kind of flex it a little bit, but when you flex a little bit, then something else gives, and so I don't know if I like that type of transformation either, where something flex something and something else give, which is really kind of how this thing works. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Are you in on this for your Seeker and your Seeker set? I sure hope they make more, and I really think they plan to, or else they wouldn't have started with the Seeker. Like and subscribe. Tideria Finger out.
Starscream, much easier. almighty Megatron, and attacking the real threat, the Autobots moon base. How do you feel, mighty Megatron?
You're an idiot, Starscream.